Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to everybody. Today I'm going to continue our lessons, which is speech organization. I believe that you have done your online forum which focus on this topic, which is how do you organize your speech. All right, please take a look at the content of this lesson. Right, before delivering your speech or before preparing your speech text, what you need to do is to have a speech outline. And we have a very good template that you can follow. All right, if you refer to the module page 58. All right, if you look generally, what you need to have, the main thing that you need to put in your speech outline is first introduction, second is body or the content of the speech, and last is conclusion. All right. All right, introduction, you must have attention getting opener. All right, and then preview, and don't forget to put transition. Okay, I'm going to explain in detail what is attention getting opener, preview, and transition. Okay, same like body, you need to have first main point, second main point, and third main point. Usually we only provide maximum three main point, which have three sub points. All right. And then lastly, we have conclusion. You need to have summary, all right, a concluding remark, and a bibliography or references that you are planning to use in your speech. Okay, why you need to have a speech outline before you write a speech text? Because you have to plan, all right, based on the framework. Okay, and why we do, because we want to make sure that we don't write something out of topic or irrelevant topic. All right, because first we want to know specific purpose of your speech, whether you want to inform, whether you want to persuade, whether you want to entertain. All right, based on your speech text. All right, second, it's very good to have a speech outline because we know or we can identify the central or the main idea of your speech. Third, it function to label clearly the introduction, which point is under content and which point is under conclusion. All right. We also want to make sure that you use a consistent transition. For example, if you use first, second, and third, or maybe you want to use other connectors like beside, in addition, furthermore, right? But you have to be consistent. That's why in the template there are space for you to write a transition. All right, it's also for you to state a main point and sub point. All right, main point is the big point. Usually we have main point 1, main point 2, and main point 3, and other each main point there are 3 sub point and also example. Okay, and also you can plan on your references to be used in your speech text. For example, which part that you want to do in-text citation. All right, not every part, but certain part that need to be supported, okay, by the references. Okay, like I promised before, I'm going to explain in detail each part of the speech outline. We have introduction, we have a body, and we have conclusion. Now I'm going to explain the speech outline in the intro part. Okay, generally for the introduction, you need to have what we call attention getting opener. We have preview, and we also have transition. Okay, for attention getting opener, all right, is something that you can grab the attention from the audience. All right, usually a speaker will use maybe a video or audio, songs, maybe pictures or any visualization. All right, just to attract the audience, or sometimes you can use a question. All right, but when you write in the attention getting opener, you can say like show the video of unhealthy food. All right, and in bracket you have to provide the question. What is the question that you might ask the audience related to the attention getting opener that you use. For example, in this case, you ask, do you think the food in the video is healthy and why? This is actually to build up the interaction and engagement with the audience. And we want to actually impress the audience, all right, to follow our speech until the end. All right, the preview is actually when you list down the main topic of your speech. For example, in this case, there are 3 steps to prepare a healthy diet. So your main idea is you talking about healthy diet or healthy food. All right, so first, reduce the intake of sugar. Second, using lots of vegetable and small portion of carbs and proteins. All right, and third is boiling, steaming, or grilling way of cooking rather than frying. All right, you don't need to write a full sentence, just the point, okay? Just the idea in general. All right, and then later you write transition, okay? The first transition that you are going to use is actually after in the introduction, and you want to proceed to the next, which is the first main point. You can say, without further ado, I will explain each of the main point. Okay, it's a very simple one. Okay, I guess this is a very important part in speech outline, which is body or the content of the speech. All right. First thing first, you need to extract out the first main point, second main point, and third main point that you have listed in the preview. All right, and then you need to add what is the sub point of each main point, 1, 2, and 3. All right, this is a just example for the topic of healthy diet or healthy food. Okay, our first main point is reduce the intake sugar. You need citation on that because this is something scientific. All right, maybe you referring to certain website that say that sugar is very dangerous. All right, it can make you diabetes and so on. All right, so you need a citation, but you can actually write at the you just can put need citation, and you can actually uh, find it later, not the moment you write a speech outline. Okay, the first sub point is don't drink a sweet drink. Okay, don't drink sweet drink is one of the way to reduce the intake of sugar. All right. Second, less sugar when you cook any food. Okay, sometimes it's very hard to avoid sugar, but when you cook, maybe you can avoid. Just put less sugar. Okay, a little sugar on it. Okay, for the third sub point C, eat more fruit as an alternative. All right, and of course you need citation that show that fruit can become natural, can provide you natural sugar. Okay, because some people addicted to sugar. All right, so basically sub point A, B, and C explain on how to reduce the intake of sugar. All right, we go to second main point, which is using a lot of vegetable. Okay, before that, you need to put the second transition, all right, which show you the movement from first main point to the second main point. Okay, you can just simply write, now we move on, or now we move to the next point, which is, all right, and then you say using a lot of vegetable and small portion of carb and protein. Of course, when we talk about this thing, you need a citation or references from your reading. Okay, first set point, you tell about the ideal portion in your plate is you need to have half vegetable and quarter of carb and quarter of protein. Okay, that's the measurement or the portion we talk about. Portion, the ideal portion of having a healthy diet. All right. Second sub point is carbs contribute to your main source of energy, and you need citation on that because it's something scientific. And third is protein increases muscles and body strength, and you need citation. Basically, in the second and third sub point, I'm writing about the benefit of carbs and protein, because the main idea we're talking about carbs and protein. All right, you can add also the benefit of vegetable if you want to, but in this case I don't want to, because I don't want to have too many sub point. So that's why first I'm talking about the portion the right measurement of the ideal portion, second the benefit of carbs, and second the benefit of protein. And then you just write the next transition 3. You can say beside that we also should use healthier way to cook our food, such as, all right, beside that, not as, yeah, not besides that, but beside that we also should use a healthier way to cook our food, such as. Okay, you can use any transition as long as it can move from the first point, in this case from the second point to the third point. All right, and then you write the third main point that you take from the preview, which is boiling, steaming, or grilling way of cooking rather than frying. Okay, need citation why frying is not good, it's unhealthy compared to boiling, steaming, or grill your diet. So the first point talking about when you boil food, it can retain its natural flavor without the addition of fat and oils when you're sauteing or you're frying. Okay, you need citation on that. You need to prove that your claim is correct. Okay, second sub point, steaming can make food lower in calories and more easily digestible. All right, when you steam your food, the food that have many calories, it can be reduced. All right, and it can help your digestion system. Of course, you need a citation on that. The third main point, the third sub point is when you grill meat. All right, your food will be tastier and it will be lowered in fat and also calories, same like boil. Again, you need the citation for each sub point because you claim something that need to be supported by scientific research or references. And then lastly, you write about the transition 4. Okay, all in all, our food can be served healthily if prepared in the right way with good nutrient. Okay, this transition basically try to conclude all. Okay, main point 1, main point 2, and main point 3. Okay, I think this is one of the best way to write the last transition before you enter the conclusion. And the last part in the speech outline, you have to write a conclusion. So what you need to have is, first you need to have a summary, and then you need to have a concluding remark, and lastly bibliography, which is the list of references that you use in your speech later. All right, so you can use APA style in this case. Okay, for conclusion, the first part is summary. You can write what is the first sentence you are going to write in the conclusion part. Okay, for example, you say in conclusion, there are 3 steps to prepare healthy food diet, which are: first, reduce the intake of sugar; second, using a lot of vegetable and small portion of carb and protein; and third, boiling, steaming, or grilling way of cooking rather than frying. Basically, you can take it 100% from the preview that you have done before. All right, it's just the same because we want to reflect what we have talked before, and you can put in your conclusion. And lastly, you should need to have concluding remark. All right, it's actually the last word, the final word that you talk about what you have discussed in your speech. You can say like, indeed, having healthy diet can make you live in more positive way with your happy family. Okay, it's just one sentence, very catchy and very simple, as long as it can wrap up all the ideas that you mentioned in your speech. And don't forget, lastly, the bibliography. If you use, for example, 10 references, you have to list down 10 references by using APA style. Yeah, when you talk about a body of speech, the principle that we need to have, and ponder is basically is the point that you choose must be very simple. All right, and you don't need to have too many points. Usually, we only provide 3 main points for one speech. All right, and it must straightforward because we are not writing poem or writing academic writing. We just want to give speech. That's why the point must be very easy and simple for audience to understand. All right, it must balance. I mean, the point that be arranged must be systematically arranged based on your speech type. All right, maybe is the type of your speech is informative. There are certain way to arrange it. If you choose persuasive, there are certain way to arrange your point. All right, the order, the use of transition is very, very important to make sure your point is in a good order and a good flow, all right, of your speech. And you must use consistent pattern of idea development. You must use consistent, what we call transition. If you use first, it must be followed by second, third. If you use firstly, then secondly, thirdly. If you use connectors like beside, you can freely use maybe in order, in addition, furthermore, and so on. Okay, when we talk about the transition or development of your speech, there are actually various ways to organize your ideas. Okay, so generally we have like 6 types of how your ideas can be arranged. First, if you use time sequencing, when you want to list main point of the event, for example, if you want to give a speech about biography of famous people or maybe history of people, you have to list down based on event, maybe based on the year, what happened to Malaysia and so on. Okay, basically this speech tell about the event, okay, the sequence of event. All right, the third type is demonstrate. We call it special relation, when you want to show the process of something. For example, you want to give a speech on how to study smart or how to face the COVID-19 effectively. All right, so basically the transition, you have to tell first what you need to do, second step, third step. Okay, we call it special relation. The third one is cause and effect. Okay, when you describe causes and consequences of something. All right, for example, you want to deliver a speech of smoking is a bad habit, so you would tell about the negative thing of habit, and what maybe the first effect, second effect, and third effect. All right, and what is the factor that make you smoke. All right, the second example maybe shopaholic disadvantages. All right, you will tell about the negative thing about being so addicted to go shopping. All right, we call it shopaholic. The third one is problem solution, when you explain the problem and how it can be solved. All right, for example, you want to say you want to give a speech about effective online learning, so the first part you will tell about the problem of online learning and how teacher and student can solve the problem. Okay, so the speech will become problem solution, or maybe solution to on online game addiction. All right, many people addicted to play online game, so what is the best solution to solve this problem. All right, the next one is a more free range or arrangement. We call it topical sequence. Okay, when you have a free arrangement by using main topic. For example, you want to talk about a hybrid of 21st century classroom. Okay, we just describe what is the qualities of 21st century learning classroom. Or maybe you want to talk special food in Malaysia. Okay, this topic is very wide and very free. You can arrange it on your own based on your main ideas. All right, the third one is Monroe motivated. Okay, I'm going to explain in detail when we learn about persuasive speech. All right, because there are certain stages that you have to follow. All right, basically when you use Monroe motivated is when you want to convince audience to follow what you say. All right, it's different from other technique, because other technique maybe just we want to inform or maybe entertain the audience, but in Monroe motivated we want to convince or we want to persuade audience to follow what we say in our speech. For example, you want to give a speech like why we should buy gold nowadays, or why gold can benefit you. All right, and why we need to watch Netflix at home compared to watching a movie in the cinema. Okay, so you will talk about the advantages, and there are certain way I'm going to explain in detail when we learn about persuasive speech. All right. Okay, two important part, the phrase and also the last part of a speech we call beginning and ending, or introduction of ending. Uh, First is introduction. Introduction function to, like I said, to attract or to impress audience. When you use audio, when you use video, maybe stories, maybe joke, maybe the list of history, all right, and etc. And make sure your introduction can relate closely to the topic, to your audience. That's why we need to analyze the audience. And in introduction, we must preview or list down the topic, the main topic that we are going to explain in our speech later. Okay, and it must be done clearly. Secondly, ending, when you reinforce or you wrap up the main idea of your speech, right? And they indicate ending, when we want to indicate this is actually the last part of your speech, and usually we will use a meaningful word or statement in the concluding remark. All right, to make sure that uh, audience can understand, okay, in general of your speech.